what I do with this is yep.
What do you need? Can I get you some?
I should have done this before I put the last set in. I wanted to, so I chisel, I'd make a hole. Okay, so if this was their food cache,
yeah,
you can see where the tops of it is. So I'd come out a bit because it may be wider than it looks on the top. I'd come out and I'd chisel a hole through here, and you need a good size hole because you're going to have your snares sticking out the sides. Right? Then I take my pole and I shove it to the bottom, and then I push down as hard as I can to seat it, and then I mark where the water level is, and then I pull it out, and if it was white like this, you'd see the mud. So then I take your knife or your saw. I got a saw on this and it shows up good. So if I shoved it that far in the mud, then I'd mark that right away, because I'm going to take my attention off of this and work on my snare. And if the top of the water is somewhere up here, say, I might mark that. Right, and then I look at that, say, okay, so it's going to be in the mud to there, and there's the top. So if it's, if it was like 8 feet deep, you could have like 4 snares on here. But if you don't have that much, I'd probably pick, say, the middle, and that's where I'm going to hang.
And you
my
take
snare.
a green or even a birch and wire it to that, and then snare. Put your snares up.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna do that, except I'm gonna put the snares on first, and then I know exactly where I want to put the bait.
Right.
Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it wouldn't make much sense to put snares down below the half mark, because they're not going to be swimming down deep anyways, right? Or
Not in my thinking, because they're come out now.
Yeah.
And they're gonna swim around their bait pile, right?
Yeah, higher up, off the bottom.
I taught a course up in just out of Valley View there, Sturgeon Lake, and there were 6 guys there, First Nation, and one of them had throat surgery. He had a really, really strange voice and that, he was quite withdrawn, probably because of that. But we had 6-day courses then, and I finally won him over, and we became pretty good friends. And when we did the snaring, he said, we don't have those conibears. We have no money we can't buy traps. So we snare everything. I said, all the beaver? He said, all the beaver, that's all we do. And he's the one that I learned. I just showed Perry yesterday. If I do have to snare them at the lodge, I put my snare on so that the bottom of the snare is down here now, because he's coming out. I put that down, and then I have another pole beside it. So if I had another pole here, and this is the beaver's run, I shove this one here. And he taught me that, because he said when you're trapping away from it and they get caught in here, they can't get their feet on the ground, so they're going to die pretty quick. But when you're trapping them down here, they're in 4-wheel drive, so they're going to give that a working over like you won't believe. So he said, you shove this pole, this is the death pole, he called it. He'll pull on that and he'll get all around this, and he'll wrap around that, and he has no purchase left.
That's smart.
Yeah.
It's like an entanglement underwater.
It's an entanglement. That's the proper word for it. Yeah. But I just thought, why the hell didn't I think of that? You know? He said, well, he told me we don't have no converse. Anyway, I learned a lot from that guy. So anyway, we'll take this, cut a little piece of wire. I hope I don't leave you confused, because I've talked about snaring right at the lodge, and then I've talked about snaring out at the bait. That's the difference of where you would position your snare, right? So if I've decided
you can buy those snares just set up like that, eh? Ones you got there?
Yeah, these are just Adams lock, but you can use cam locks. whatever.
That block didn't trip though, eh?
There's my mark. So I'm gonna have one snare there and one snare there.
Okay.
I might not have cut this long enough, but this one here is not made properly for the way I like them, but I like them. I make mine so that this is sitting like this,
Straight up and down.
so the wire goes through it and doesn't try to flip it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but anyway,
Yeah.
you'll get the idea here in a minute what I'm talking about.
So 1x16 is good enough.
Yeah, 1/16. Yeah, that's good enough for beaver under the water. It's illegal to snare beaver on land. You know that, right?
Oh.
That's because death by occlusion is impossible in a beaver, whereas it's not with the minutes.
Occlusion. You mean by strangling?
No, death by occlusion means you've occluded the carotid arteries between the heart and the brain.
Oh.
You've shut the blood supply off.
Oh, and that doesn't work on beavers at all.
No, because the carotid arteries so far in and they're so full of fat and muscle, you can't get in
Oh
there.
yeah, so that's just not.
You put a snare on a beaver on land, and he'll be waiting for you when you come back if he's still there. Yeah, that's not so bad. Get that one out of these. Now, when you look at this, one of the things that took me quite a while to learn was a painful lesson was that beaver, I have about pretty near a 10-inch loop, and the beaver's head is so small, but when a beaver gets caught, his head's shaped like a torpedo, and if he gets caught, he'll just stick his fingernails in there and pull that thing off just as slick as you. And so you have to get at least one arm in there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
If you don't, like once the snare goes in his armpit, he's not coming out of it.
Yeah.
So that was a painful lesson because I make them too small. Yeah.
So good 10 inches, you say,
Well,
or more?
I would say at least 8. For me, I like closer to 10. There's a lot of guys I think would say, "Oh man, that's too big." But that's pretty good. So that's a little less than 10 inches, I guess. Maybe 8 across.
Yeah. So you
And
got
I
to
have
put arms
this
through
stuff
there.
left over, just like a kind of a collar support.
That's 8 inches across for me there.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So that's probably that's where I like it, right about there. So that answers our question.
And that right there is 7 inch.
Okay. If you made that small enough because you just want to catch them by the head, you're not. You're gonna find that thing, and when you pull it up, it'll be like this. When you pull it out, yeah, you won't be happy.
You'll know what happened.
Sometimes they're like that because of freaking muskrats. They always mess with it. Like a muskrat could swim through that with a case of beer. Why does he need to wreck that? But they do. Yeah. Anyway, you can tip these up a little bit because the water's gonna. If you have them pointing down too much, when you try to lower it, they're gonna drop on you. Now, that's just holding everything in place. Always remember me telling you this, whether it's a conibear, snares, you want steel to the top of the ice. Don't do that to yourself, because if the beaver chews this off or whatever, you haven't got any hope left, but at least if you've got some wire. So we'll take this and we'll do the old
braided wire thing.
Wire trick.
You double your wire up for that too.
Everything,
Yeah.
Interesting.
I like your duct tape trick around that roll too.
Oh, it's a lifesaver when you're using a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
If you start pulling it from the outside, man, you'll be so pissed off with that stuff. I learned from the rebar guys, they have that reel.
Oh.
They just pull it from the center through that reel. So
yeah,
trying to get those reels in, I think they were like $45, and I'm such a cheap bugger. I went back to the duct tape. So I'm just going to go through the eyes.
Uh-huh.
Now you could save yourself a bunch of dinking around. You could have used one whole piece to do all of this. But I find it annoying when it's time to try to get it all. I really like to know I've got my snare secured. So I'd rather do this, but it's just a preference. And this is whatever you want to do with this. All this is it went through those eyes so that I know I ain't going to lose my snares.
Yeah.
No matter what Chewy does down there. You should try this when you don't need it, so that it becomes something it's not so hard, because when you need it you won't remember how the hell to do it.
Yeah.
So just do one even if you don't think you need one, just so you don't forget. So now I would take this and I would kind of weave this through the hole that I made. You see why you need a wider one than you would for a conibear?
Yeah.
Yeah, so clean all the ice out of there. Get that shit out of your way, because if it hits this, you don't realize that it's gone down. So I get it through the hole and then I pick it back up to make sure that I'm where I want it.
Uh-huh.
Right? But anyway, the last thing we're going to do, I'm happy with all that, is we're going to put
Bait stick.
our sprigs. Where? Oh, there they are. Hey, right while I was looking, Beaver came out and stole my stinking tree.
Yeah. I think that beaver's name is Ingrid.
Yeah, busy, right?
Busy beaver.
Busy Beaver.
This guy's how I illustrated to the school kids about habitat is I've done the same thing, and I cut all of these and I leave it in the snow, and then when we go back the next day, there's rabbits, whatever. There's your bait. Actually, the tops off of the birch, that seems to be their favorite. They really go crazy over that.
Oh, I'll have to remember that.
Yeah. And then we'll just take this, like this.
I'm sure. Smorgasbord for these guys.
Doug's watching me thinking, I wonder if I'll even get them back, or that doofus keeps tripping them.
Those are Tristan's, I think.
Yeah.
Got another set in there too.
That looks pretty yummy, Ross.
Oh yeah.
I can't see them resisting that.
Me either. I'd head right for it. You gotta have that.
Salad.
It looks so yummy.
All that top stuff they can't get to otherwise.
Yeah, this stuff will have been gone quite a while ago, because that's the stuff they like the best.
Uh-huh. Even at this time of year, that stuff is still good.
You can prove it to yourself, like I said, on land with rabbits. I mean,
Yeah.
20,000 rabbits can't be wrong, right?
Yeah.
There, I just single that, because that's just holding it there
Mm-hmm.
to make it appear yummy. Now I'm going to fiddle around here.
So you're putting it up above the snares for any reason, or?
Well, you could put it, it's just that because of, I want them to come here. So you could have it right here, but if I put it right in the middle, this shit gets in the way and pisses me off in front of my snare. That's the only reason.
Yeah,
I
it
do it
might prevent those J hooks or whatever from sliding too or something.
What's that?
You just don't want it to interfere with the closing of those loops.
Yeah, you don't want anything to interfere, but this is nice because it camouflages these knots, and they know what that is anyways.
Yeah, unless they're snare smart already.
Yeah, I've taken, I didn't find anything, and I So I took the orange peels, because I had orange in my lunch, and I wrapped the orange peels on here, and it worked. They were attracted to that white orange, because we had tried it on. We ran out of carrots, and my kids were trapping muskrats, and they were dropping the 110, 120s. And we put the carrot, and we ran out of carrots, so we just used ribbon, trap ribbon to mark. Put it on, and we caught muskrats. So this is the set that I would use, just to repeat myself, out where they're going around. And I'd probably put 3. Well, I'd feel pretty disappointed myself if I didn't at least get 3 around the thing. And if it's extremely deep, then you might consider, you've got your 2 bottom ones, you might put another 2 facing this way, because when they come up to stuff, they circle it, almost like how a cat has to go around everything all the time. That's the theory behind it. I don't know, is it making sense, John?
Yep.
But you were saying too before or earlier that you sometimes resort to snares if the beaver are too smart for trained on the conibears too, I guess, eh?
Yep. But you just have to remember, when you're doing ADC work, if your snare's out of the water, they could charge you for that. When you catch a beaver out of the water, you'll know why. I've taken you up and down and all around. I hope that it makes sense to you, because you paid your money. If any of it is any confusing, don't be afraid to speak up.
No, this is awesome.
This is good.
Very awesome.
You have a very good way of explaining stuff, Ross.
Oh, good.
It's always clear, I find.
But as an instructor, you'll meet someone, 6 months or something, and they'll say, how's trapping? How'd you make it? I don't know. I guess I'm just not much of a trapper. And I say, well, what do you mean? And then, let's go have a coffee. And then I get talking to them, and I think to myself, I failed this person. Absolutely failed them somehow. Because how could they not understand stuff that was rudimentary stuff in the course? It's not because it's just where their head is at the time, And some people, it's easier to teach women, because women don't fixate on the trap. Guys, that's all they want to look at. They want to look at the trap, and they know they're going to have to set it, and they won't leave that alone. So they don't listen to where to put the trap or where the trigger should be. That's irrelevant. They need to fixate on the device itself. Not us, man. Those other guys. But anyway, that's what I've learned over the years. Is that women are not afraid to speak. So the men are afraid that someone will know that they don't know. The women don't care. They'll just say, go through this with me. I don't understand any of that. And right? That you can help them, because they aren't afraid to tell you.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Click like and subscribe. Wade and Dave Chronicles. God bless. Did you like this video? If you did, I think you're gonna like this one right over here. So check it out. And I appreciate your subscribing. If you haven't done so already, remember to do that while you're watching this next video. Click like, it all helps us out for this channel. Catch you next time.